Luo Feng pricked up his ears and indeed heard a rumbling sound. It should be the sound of the Paulinus family's men jumping down from the sky and landing on the ground, Luo Feng guessed. At the same time, he swiftly retracted his spiritual force and shrank it from a range of 100 meters to a range of 30 meters. 4 powerful fighters like an advanced level Wargod, their spiritual force can sense it. Suddenly, Luo Feng heard a very weak conversation coming from the mist in the distance. Catalan, there are 9 willow-type vegetation spirits in front of us. Li Yao's voice came from the thick fog in the distance. He spoke fluent English. Spirits of nature usually don't have high attack power. Li Yao, how come you can't deal with them? A cold voice rang. As he said that, 4 shadows walked out from the mist. Luo Feng squinted his eyes and looked through the grass. The leader was wearing a black robe and looked weird. Li Yao was talking to him on the side, so his attitude was clearly lower. Behind the black-robed man was a seemingly sturdy barbaric brute and a skinny white man. And from the looks of it, the barbaric brute and skinny man didn't lower their heads at all in front of Li Yao. Clearly they weren't afraid of Li Yao. From the looks of it, the leader of these 4 is the black-robed man, Luo Feng thought to himself. The figures of the 4 people in the distance gradually became clear. Deal with them? That Willow Tree King has a diameter of 3 meters. The willow-type spirit of nature that nurtured the 1000 Year Willow Heart only has a diameter of 1 meter. This Willow Tree King is much more powerful than that one. Especially its light golden willow branches. Every single one of them is extremely tough. If I get bound by them, even I would die for sure. Li Yao pointed towards the 9 willow-type spirits of nature in the distance. Right there. Li Yao's group of 4 walked towards the 9 willow trees from around 120 meters away from Luo Feng. Because it was night and the mist was thick. Plus, Luo Feng only poked half his head out and he was in the grass. Even Li Yao, Catalan, and the others didn't notice Luo Feng's existence. Just the 4 of them to deal with the Willow Tree King? Luo Feng watched silently. It's probably unrealistic for these 4 to cut down the Willow Tree King. Li Yao and the other 3 stood about 50 meters away from the 9 willow trees. One of the brutish men said in a low voice, Li, are you saying that these 9 willow trees are all floral spirits? If you don't believe me, you can come closer. Li Yao sneered. Cat ran. Li Yao said solemnly, you see those 9 willow trees, the core one, which is also the thickest Willow Tree King, is the most powerful. Moreover, its pale golden willow branches are enough to cover the surrounding willow trees, so there's no way for me to attack the other willow trees. Catalan observed carefully. Where is the pale gold willow branch? Look, it's wrapped around the entire trunk of the tree, Li Yao pointed and said. Oh. Catalan also felt that this Willow Tree King was not ordinary. This willow tree only has one attack, and that is to strangle people to death with its branches. Its trunk cannot be moved, and its roots are deeply rooted in the ground to absorb nutrients, making it impossible to attack, Li Yao said. This is the same as the willow tree that nurtured the 1000-year-old Willow Heart. Catalan nodded his head. There are 2 ways to kill this Willow Tree King. The first method is to kill all of its roots. The second is to chop off its trunk. Li Yao, who was at the side, also nodded his head. Yes, but its pale gold willow branches are 200 to 300 meters long, enough to penetrate into the ground and protect its roots. Moreover, such a big willow tree, its roots must be very developed. Killing its roots is much harder than cutting off its trunk. 200 to 300 meters long? Catalan frowned slightly. Catalan pondered for a moment. Wah! The black robe on Catalan's body instantly disappeared, revealing a black combat uniform underneath. There were daggers pinned to the combat trousers of this combat uniform. There were a total of 12 black daggers. On the back of his combat vest, javelins were stabbed into the ground. A total of 6 javelins were on his back like a shield made of javelins. He has a black god set? Luo Feng, who was secretly watching from afar, was shocked. There's only one possibility for Catalan's black robe to disappear. That black robe was transformed from a black god set. A black god set can transform into any shape according to a person's will. His weapons are javelins and daggers? Luo Feng frowned slightly. Right now, Catalan's expression was ice cold. The silver javelins and the black daggers all made people's hearts go cold. Li Yao, who was at the side, squinted his eyes. Leave the Willow Tree King to me. Catalan's voice was ice cold as he ordered. In a bit, I'll attack the Willow Tree King. Li Yao, Keita, Ivan, you 3 attack the other willow trees from the outside. Remember, your safety is the most important thing. After I completely suppress the Willow Tree King, you guys go all out to chop down the other willow trees. Understood, the savage brute licked his lips. Okay, Ivan slightly nodded. Okay, Li Yao nodded. Catalan slightly smiled as he saw this. Shishi. His entire body was quickly covered with a black membrane. In an instant, the black membrane covered every part of his skin, including his face. In other words, Catalan's face was also black, and his eyes, nose and mouth were all sealed. It's very smooth. It could be said that Catalan isn't afraid of any sharp attacks below the level of a Wargod. Spirit Reader Masters don't need eyes to fight. Seeing this scene, Li Yao sighed in his heart. Alright, let's begin. Katrin's voice could be heard. Whoosh. Catalan was like a bolt of lightning as he charged towards the Willow Tree King. His speed was so fast that in the blink of an eye, he was less than 10 meters away from the Willow Tree King. Meanwhile, the Willow Tree King finally started its attack in anger. A large number of willow branches covered the sky and covered the earth as they frantically attacked Catalan. Furthermore, the pale golden willow branches also quickly joined the battle. Vulture Li Yao, Blood Shadow Ethan, and Giant Bear Kata also turned into afterimages in an instant. From the outside, the three of them actually joined hands and attacked the same willow tree that was approximately 1.8 meters in diameter. Black light extended from Li Yao and Ethan's bodies and covered their entire bodies. Clearly both of them have black god sets. And because they have black god sets, Li Yao and Ethan didn't use shields. 4 people and 3 of them have black god sets? Luo Feng, who was secretly watching from afar, was shocked. It's not that there are a lot of black god sets on Earth, but that those who dare to come here are all top-level wargods. Even Li Yao was heavily injured. If they think that they can't keep up with Li Yao, would they dare to come? Only a few people in the entire world have black god sets, and their numbers are extremely low. Every single one of them has shocking strength. That Catalan is a spirit reader? Luo Feng's eyes were wide open, only to see. Catalan was holding a dagger in each of his hands. At the same time, 9 daggers were floating in front of him. Shishi. It was like breaking a tree. The flying dagger easily cut off the willow branches, and soon, a large number of pale golden willow branches shrouded Catalan. Catalan, whose entire body was covered by the black god, did not rely on his eyes to fight. Instead, he relied on his telekinesis, which had a range of 100 meters, to observe everything and fight. Light golden willow branches, not easy to deal with, thought Luo Feng, who was far away. Indeed. Shishi, the 9 floating daggers cut through the light golden willow branches with great difficulty. Humph, a cold humph. The 2 daggers that Catalan held with both hands moved at an astonishing speed. Bio, bio. In one breath, he cut through dozens of light golden willow branches and instantly charged out of the encirclement. This scene shocked Vulture Li Yao, who was also paying attention. And Luo Feng, who was secretly watching from afar, was even more shocked. Those are light golden willow branches. Every single one of them is extremely tough. When I cut one back then, I immediately retreated and dug into the ground. Luo Feng was extremely shocked. Only after fighting did he know the toughness of the light golden willow branches. Even Li Yao can't cut through dozens of them at once. Just how powerful are the daggers in his hands? Yeah, the daggers he controls are extremely strenuous and difficult to cut through the light golden willow branches. Looks like his spiritual force isn't much stronger than mine, thought Luo Feng to himself. However, the daggers he's holding with both hands are much more powerful. This means that the explosive power of his body is extremely shocking. The body fitness level of an advanced level wargod, such as some peak advanced level wargods, have a brute force of 400,000 to 500,000 kilograms. And those who use 2 to 3 times their body strength can reach 1,000,000 kg in one punch. And those who use 5 to 6 times their body strength? His body fitness level should be that of an advanced level wargod. His body strength is also very high. And then, with the addition of his spiritual force, Luo Feng nodded to himself. This is why his body's strength and spiritual force can explode out in such a shocking manner. The moment he charged out of the encirclement and approached the Willow Tree King's trunk. Open, roared Catalan. The dagger in his hand fiercely cut across the Willow Tree King's trunk. Shishi, the horizontal cut only cut about 6 to 7 centimeters before it couldn't go any further. Green dewy liquid slowly seeped out of the wound on the trunk. Boom. The Willow Tree King, which was originally splitting its light golden willow branches to attack other people, was finally enraged. Close to 10,000 willow branches crazily danced and completely surrounded Catalan from all directions. Whoosh. Catalan ferociously charged out and at the same time, waved his hands. Oh. His black arms expanded and instantly, Catalan had a pair of black arms that were 7 to 8 meters long. His left and right black arms each held a dagger and swung towards the willow branches. As if opening a curtain, the 7 to 8 meter long black arms directly split the large amounts of willow branches to the side. Catalan himself instantly dashed out and the light golden willow branches immediately wrapped around his black arms. The black arms instantly escaped from the large amounts of light golden willow branches like noodles. Good, the trunk is tough enough. Catalan stood around 100 meters away from the Willow Tree King and circled around the other willow trees. As he circled around, a silver-gray javelin appeared in his hand. Break? Catalan let out a deep roar. His expression was ferocious as he single-handedly held the silver-gray javelin. His entire body instantly bent into the shape of a bow. The muscles on his right shoulder bulged to the point that black skin was propped up. The tip of the silver-gray javelin had a spiral pattern. Then as he ran he threw it like lightning. A bolt of lightning. A spinning bolt of lightning. That javelin was indeed spinning as it flew. A large amount of light golden willow branches danced in the air in an attempt to stop it, but the speed of the javelin was simply too fast. It probably exceeded 10 times the speed of sound. Only 3 willow branches barely touched it. Then this streak of light ruthlessly stabbed into the Willow Tree King's trunk. Buzz, a sound like an electric drill piercing through a wooden board suddenly exploded. Chi-chi. The entire javelin actually sank into the Willow Tree King's trunk. Even the tip of the javelin slightly emerged from the other side of the Willow Tree King's trunk. Catalan's Demonic Illusion Eye and Demonic Illusion Strike are indeed the 2 world-famous ultimate techniques. When Li Yao saw this, his heart couldn't help but to tremble, combining physical strength and spiritual force to create the Demonic Illusion Strike. Is unbelievable. This attack probably barely surpasses the power of a Wargod's attack. Luo Feng, who was far away, took in a deep breath. He never thought that there would be such a powerful existence amongst the Wargods. Keep in mind that Catalan's dagger only managed to cut less than 10 centimeters. And the entire Willow Tree King has a diameter of over 3 meters. But now, Catalan's javelin actually pierced through the entire trunk of the Willow Tree King. Too scary. Rumble, the entire Willow Tree King started shaking crazily. At the same time, the light golden willow branches crazily danced and attacked Catalan. Attack the other willow trees, Catalan roared. Yes. Vulture Li Yao, Great Bear Kata, and Blood Shadow Ethan all attacked the willow tree on the side. Without the Willow Tree King's help. How could this 1.8-meter tall willow tree's spirit of nature defend against the three powerful fighters? In just a few seconds, with a rumble, the gigantic willow tree collapsed. Take the Thousand Year Willow Heart, Li Yao, Kata, and Ethan swiftly attacked the trunk at the same time. Boom. Pieces of wood flew everywhere, and at the same time, a breathtaking green color flew up. It's the Thousand Year Willow Heart. Li Yao and the others were overjoyed. LuoFeng also saw the green color with a glance. Since Li Yao and the others stopped attacking the trunk of the willow tree and charged towards that green color, he could tell, that's the Thousand Year Willow Heart. Also, LuoFeng saw a picture of the Thousand Year Willow Heart on the Wargod discussion board. A Thousand Year Willow Heart that can increase cell activity and body fitness level, and it's the spirit of nature of a 1.8-meter tall willow tree. LuoFeng's eyes exploded with a never-before-seen light. That's mine. The formless spiritual force instantly extended outwards. The speed at which the spiritual force extended was so fast that it could almost be called teleportation. A strand of spiritual force instantly wrapped around the Thousand Year Willow Heart. As it wrapped around the Willow Heart, LuoFeng's spiritual force naturally invaded the area where Catalan's spiritual force spread out and was discovered by Catalan. The strand of spiritual force instantly retracted. That green light instantly flew towards LuoFeng. Spirit Reader. It took an extremely short amount of time for Catalan's spiritual force to notice LuoFeng's spiritual force and realize that there's a spirit reader there. And in that instant, the green light was only 80 meters away from LuoFeng. Come back, Catalan also used his spiritual force to pull it back. Peng. The two formless spiritual forces clashed. That green light directly entered the grass patch where LuoFeng was, and LuoFeng madly drilled into the ground with his fastest speed. Thousand Year Willow Heart. Li Yao, Kata, and Ethan all charged over. Catalan also flew over. The four powerful fighters stood beside the grass patch and looked at this unassuming hole in the grass patch. The Thousand Year Willow Heart was stolen. Kata and Ethan were furious. How come there's still someone else? Catalan stared angrily at Li Yao, and it's a spirit reader. His spiritual force is probably nearing the advanced level Wargod level. It's LuoFeng followed Li Yao. LuoFeng he's... That LuoFeng from the elite training camp? Asked Catalan. Yeah, that's him. I have a grudge against him. Actually, I came here to kill him, but I didn't think that I would find so many spirits of nature, replied Li Yao. Catalan's face was terrible. Catalan, you're also a spirit reader, so you should be able to catch him, right? Go underground and catch a spirit reader who's almost at the advanced level Wargod level? Catalan sneered as he looked at him. How do you think spiritual force is easy to train? After all these years, my body fitness level has reached the peak of the advanced level Wargod level, but my spiritual force's progress has been slow. When Catalan was young, spirit readers had a period of rapid growth. When Catalan reached the beginner level Wargod level spirit reader, he stopped. After that, he had to rely on himself to train. Unfortunately, the difficulty of training spiritual force is several times harder than training your body fitness level. After all these years, Catalan's body fitness level has already reached the peak of the advanced level Wargod level, but his spiritual force is still at the peak of the intermediate level Wargod level. However, the combination of spiritual force and strength gave him an extremely horrifying power. Hence the title of Phantom. Catch an advanced level Wargod level spirit reader underground? Even an existence surpassing the Wargod level wouldn't dare to say such a thing, roared Catalan. Kata, patrol the surroundings and don't let that person come any closer. Li Yao, Ivan, come with me and quickly finish off these willow trees' vegetation spirits. Everyone nodded. Li Yao could only grit his teeth and endure. Not good. Catalan's face changed. This LuoFeng definitely heard what we said just now. He probably knows that these are spirits of nature. He'll definitely notify the Dojo of Limits. Dojo of Limits? Everyone's complexion changed greatly. Catalan even glared at Li Yao angrily. The underground rock layers were pierced by LuoFeng layer by layer as he went deeper and deeper. He had already completely surpassed the depth of the cave he was resting in before. With one breath he charged downwards. And after LuoFeng passed through, the rocks and dirt that he pushed away would once again close up. It was very hard to find LuoFeng's tracks. That Catalan is very powerful. I should go deeper underground so that he can't find me. LuoFeng charged down in one breath. Something's not right. When I fought for the Thousand Year Willow Heart, my spiritual force clashed with Catalan's spiritual force. His spiritual force seems to be slightly weaker than mine. LuoFeng couldn't help but to slow down as he thought about this. 2 to 3,000 meters underground, above an underground river, a figure broke through the rocks and fell directly into the underground river. Pooh! LuoFeng leapt up and landed on a protruding rock beside the underground river. There's actually an underground river deep underground. Luo Feng stood on the rock and looked towards the two sides of the underground river. It was pitch black. The entire underground river was turbulent and was at least 5 to 6 feet wide. The entire underground river seemed to have no place to stand. There don't seem to be any water-type monsters in this underground river, Luo Feng didn't notice before. I wonder where the underground river leads to? Luo Feng stood on the protruding rock and looked at it. After that, he shook his head and directly rammed into the rock wall beside him. The rock was as weak as tofu in front of Luo Feng, and a huge hole was immediately created. The 3 black throwing knives opened up a path in front of him, and Luo Feng quickly created a cave 20 to 30 meters away. This cave was only 20 to 30 meters away from the underground river. Thousand Year Willow Heart. Luo Feng opened his left hand and revealed an egg-shaped green crystal. The structure of this green crystal was very peculiar, as if there was a green liquid flowing within the crystal. The entire Thousand Year Willow Heart, just by looking at it, made one's heart flutter. Luo Feng felt waves of coolness enter his skin, his entire being felt refreshed. The Thousand Year Willow Heart could increase the activity of human cells, and it could also improve a person's physical fitness. To the current Luo Feng, this is probably the best treasure. No matter how good the treasure is, it would be a waste to Luo Feng because Luo Feng isn't too far away from the peak of the Wargod level. Even if the 10,000 Year Willow Heart was given to him, Luo Feng would at most reach the peak of the Wargod level and wouldn't be able to break through. From the peak of the Wargod to existences surpassing the Wargod, he had to take this step. It was very difficult. This is also the reason why many people are stuck at the advanced level Wargod level. How do I use this Thousand Year Willow Heart? Thought Luo Feng to himself. That post said it's for consumption, but is that true? That post might just be a scam. The Thousand Year Willow Heart was incomparably tough. It would be difficult to destroy it even with a sharp sword. How could he accept such a thing? Just like dragon blood, you can't take it orally. Once you do, you'll die. What about this Thousand Year Willow Heart? Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. Obtaining treasures was a good thing, but he still needed to know how to use them. If he didn't use them correctly, then they wouldn't bring him any benefits, but instead bring him disaster. He hesitated for a moment. Luo Feng lowered his head to look at his tactical communications watch and dialed a number. Do. Suddenly, hey. A low voice rang out. Hello, I'm Luo Feng from the elite training camp, replied Luo Feng. This number is the number he uses to contact the Dojo of Limits. He uses this number to ask for huge rewards or to contact the Dojo of Limits. And right now he doesn't know how to use the Thousand Year Willow Heart. After thinking about it, he decided to ask. After he uses it, his strength will increase by a huge amount, and the dojo will know that he used it. So there's no need to hide it since he stole it from someone else. What is it? Asked the low voice. I want to ask, how do I use the Thousand Year Willow Heart? Asked Luo Feng. The other side went silent. Luo Feng couldn't help but to feel nervous. After a while, the voice carried over. The crystal shell of the Thousand Year Willow Heart is incomparably tough. The liquid inside is the essence. The way to use it is to pierce through the crystal shell and then swallow the liquid inside. Remember not to swallow that crystal shell. Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief. Good thing he asked. The post on the Wargod forum only said to swallow it, but didn't say how to swallow it. If he stupidly swallowed the entire crystal, he'd be screwed. When you consume it, you'll feel extremely comfortable and won't feel any pain. Depending on how much your strength increases, the duration of the transformation will vary, said the low voice slowly. Is there anything else? No thank you sir, said Luo Feng. Sir? The low voice let out a rare laugh. The call ended. Yay. In the pitch-black rock cave, Luo Feng's eyes shined brightly like never before under the dim light of his tactical communications watch. Right now, my strength is still a bit lower than Li Yao's with his black god set. However, once I use the Thousand Year Willow Heart. Luo Feng was filled with anticipation. Ever since the astronomical bounty, he never dared to relax at all. The long-term pressure caused Luo Feng to work extremely hard, and he never relaxed even once in the elite training camp. Maybe the Vulture-Scorpion couple played a huge part in helping him gain the favor of the Dojo of Limits in such a short amount of time and receive a huge reward like dragon blood. Without their pressure, why would Luo Feng work so hard? Vulture-Scorpion, from now on, it's not that I'm afraid of you guys, it's that you're afraid of me. Luo Feng thought. Oh. A green egg-shaped crystal floated in midair in front of him. At the same time, an SS-grade throwing knife beside Luo Feng flashed like lightning and pierced the surface of the green egg-shaped crystal. Puchi. Under Luo Feng's intentional attack, the tough crystal shell was directly pierced through. Gugu. The liquid essence slowly flowed out of the crystal. However, this green liquid that was filled with life was controlled by Luo Feng's spiritual force as it floated in front of him. Come. Luo Feng opened his mouth. Whoosh. Under the control of Luo Feng's spiritual force, the essence of the Thousand Year Willow Heart, which was filled with endless life force, directly flew into Luo Feng's mouth. Even though the entire crystal was the size of an egg, the essence inside was probably only the size of a small wine glass. After swallowing it in one gulp, the essence flowed into his body through his esophagus. Suddenly, a cool and comfortable feeling spread throughout his entire body, even making his soul tremble. Comfortable. The mysterious person on the phone said that eating the Thousand Year Willow Heart doesn't hurt at all. Instead, it feels extremely comfortable. Seems like it's true. Luo Feng laid motionlessly in the rock cave as he clearly felt the minute changes in his body. Luo Feng can't forget the pain he felt when he used the dragon blood. Being able to increase his strength without any pain, of course Luo Feng was happy. So comfortable. I feel like all the muscles in my body are vibrating. Luo Feng lowered his head and looked. Luo Feng lowered his head and looked at his hand. Using the weak light from his tactical communications watch, he could see with his naked eye that the skin of his hand was vibrating at a very small but shockingly fast rate. In this vibration, strands of black substance seeped through the pores of his skin. This feeling was amazing. His entire body felt cool. At the same time, he felt like all the muscles in his body left his bones and he lost control. He could only faintly feel the continuous vibrations as if he was getting a massage. In LuoFeng's body, the essence of the Thousand Year Willow Heart and its endless life force instantly merged into every part of LuoFeng's body. This life force caused LuoFeng's muscles, bones, and cells to undergo shocking changes. Like a sapling growing into a towering tree. At this moment, countless cells in LuoFeng's body were undergoing shocking changes. His genes were rapidly developing and perfecting themselves. After getting rid of the useless genes, they were once again perfectly integrated. This speed was extremely fast, and LuoFeng's genes seemed to have absorbed a bit of the Thousand Year Willow Heart's essence, causing his genes to undergo a special change. His cell's activity was rapidly increasing. Under this life force, LuoFeng's entire body was rapidly increasing. The quality of his bones and muscles seemed to have changed. His skin and muscles were also undergoing shocking changes. However, this change didn't bring LuoFeng any pain. LuoFeng only felt as if he was getting a massage, extremely comfortable. In his realm of consciousness, in his boundless realm of consciousness, that dark golden ball was rapidly spinning and continuously releasing energy. And his entire realm of consciousness was covered in a thick fog. At the same time, large amounts of liquid were being produced in this endless fog just like dewdrops. This speed of increase was simply unheard of. LuoFeng's body fitness level was increasing. His spiritual force was crazily increasing according to the limits of his body fitness level. LuoFeng's body fitness level went from the beginner level Wargod level, fist strength of around 64,000 kilograms. Normal beginner level Wargod level, fist strength of around 96,000 kilograms. Peak of the beginner level Wargod level, fist strength of around 128,000 kilograms. Intermediate level Wargod level. Increasing step by step. The instant his body fitness level reached the intermediate level Wargod level, the dark golden ball in LuoFeng's realm of consciousness fiercely expanded. After that, crack crack crack, the entire dark golden ball directly cracked open. An endless amount of spiritual force surged out and filled his entire realm of consciousness. The body fitness level of an intermediate level Wargod level can already withstand the extreme spiritual force of the Wargod level. His spiritual force increased. LuoFeng's body fitness level continued to increase. All of the changes finally stopped. Luo Feng quietly laid down in the rock cave next to the underground river that was 2,000 to 3,000 meters deep. The dark golden ball shattered. After his awakening that night, he became a spirit reader and his future was limitless. He's always been worried about how long the dark golden ball can support him. Keep in mind that many spirit readers stop rapidly increasing after reaching the advanced level Wargod level or beginner level Wargod level and use up all of their energy. The number of spirit readers who can rapidly increase to the intermediate level Wargod level can be counted on one's fingers. My realm of consciousness. LuoFeng's consciousness was immersed in his realm of consciousness. Before, he barely reached the advanced level Wargod level spirit reader level, so his realm of consciousness was filled with drops of liquid. And now, in his boundless realm of consciousness, mist filled the air and spread out endlessly. Rumble, the surging liquid was like a galaxy flowing in LuoFeng's realm of consciousness. The spiritual force contained within was simply astonishing. And in this spiritual force liquid galaxy, one could occasionally see some dark golden shards mixed in. 2,000 to 3,000 meters underground, Luo Feng, who was lying flat on his back, finally opened his eyes. Only half an hour has passed since this transformation. Luo Feng lowered his head and looked at the time on his tactical communications watch. His face that was covered in dirt couldn't help but to let out a smile. Half an hour ago he was already one of the strongest fighters in the Wargod circle, but at that time, there were still people like Phantom Demon Catalan who were stronger than him. But now, rumble. Luo Feng casually waved his fist, causing the air to explode. A casual punch of mine can match up to my previous punch strength. My current fitness level is at least that of an intermediate level Wargod, or even an advanced level Wargod. Luo Feng could only rely on his vague feeling to confirm that he was at least an intermediate level Wargod. As for whether or not he was an advanced level Wargod, he would need to rely on a machine to test it. He wasn't too sure about his physical fitness. However, his mind power was 100% sure. Peak of the Wargod. A spirit reader at the peak of the Wargod realm. Luo Feng didn't doubt this at all. The surging Milky Way in his realm of consciousness and the spiritual force he was controlling were much stronger than before. Keep in mind that he barely reached the advanced level Wargod level before. Now that he's improved so much, of course he's at the peak of the Wargod level. Powerful. It was an incomparably powerful feeling. Everyone knows that a spirit reader at the peak of the Wargod realm is an invincible existence amongst the Wargods. Luo Feng let out a smile. Okay, I'll go wash up first. After that I'll go see Li Yao, Catalan and the others. I'll also settle my grudge with Li Yao after all these years. Shwa. Luo Feng directly followed the tunnel and rushed to a protruding rock beside the underground river. He used his spiritual force to control a gigantic ball of water to float in front of him and quickly washed his entire body, including his battle uniform. Retreat. In just 3 minutes Luo Feng fiercely rushed into the sky. Rumble, it broke through layers of rocks and quickly rushed to the surface. On the misty island, it was still night time, the mist pervading the air. Pooh. After rushing out of the soil. There are sounds of fighting over there. Luo Feng smiled as he walked towards the direction of the 9 willow trees. Who would have thought that after half an hour they still haven't chopped down all the willow trees? This time, it was almost 1,000 meters away from the 9 willow trees. However, on the incomparably silent misty island, Catalan, Li Yao, and the others crazily attacked the willow-type spirit of nature. The sonic booms they created allowed Luo Feng to easily find them. Oh. Luo Feng looked carefully. At this time, 8 of the 9 willow-type vegetation spirits had already collapsed. Their trunks had been shattered, and their thousand-year willow hearts had been taken out. Only the last willow tree king was left. The willow tree king, whose trunk was more than 3 meters thick, already had 6 javelins pierced through its trunk. The javelins were all stuck in its trunk. The willow tree king actually had hundreds of pale golden willow branches wrapped around the 6 javelins. Catalan's 6 javelins are stuck in the willow tree king's trunk. Luo Feng watched from afar. After this metamorphosis, his vision became much stronger, almost twice as strong as before. The javelin is stuck in the body, and it's caught by the golden willow branch, so it's hard to pull it out. As for the 3 black god set users, Catalan, Ivan, and Li Yao, they were attacking crazily. This willow tree king's trunk is damaged, so its strength is greatly reduced. Hurry. Catalan, who had blood on the corner of his mouth, roared. He crazily swung the 2 daggers in his hands, and the pale golden willow branches became much slower than before. A large amount of pale golden willow branches were cut off by Catalan, but there were too many willow branches. Break. Li Yao roared. Ya. Ivan crazily roared and attacked the willow tree king like a tornado. Large amounts of pale golden willow branches were cut off. With the trunk damaged, the speed and binding power of the willow branches decreased by 60 to 70%. However, they were still as tough as before. After being weakened by so much, all Catalan, Li Yao and Ivan needed was enough time to cut off all of the pale golden willow branches. Even though these willow branches were very long, once they were cut off, liquid would flow out and their power would greatly decrease, making them even weaker than regular willow branches. Hurry up. Catalan's eyes flashed as he hurriedly shouted, after we cut off this willow tree king, we still have to steal the other spirits of nature. Okay. Understood. Li Yao and Ethan were swiftly cutting off the light golden willow branches with all their might. As for Keita, he was patrolling the area. However, under the natural conditions of the night mist, Luo Feng had the intention to hide in the bushes and was over 200 meters away, so it was really hard for Keita to find him. Haha, it's broken, it's all broken. Ah. There was a wave of laughter. No matter how many branches there were, they couldn't withstand the crazy attacks of 3 advanced level Wargods. Finally, all of the pale golden willow branches were cut off, and liquid flowed out from the broken sections. The damaged pale golden willow branches greatly decreased in power again, and they were no longer a threat to the advanced level Wargods. Attack the trunk. Cut. Catalan, Li Yao and Ivan crazily rushed over. Keita, come here, yelled Catalan. Coming, that brute Keita also excitedly rushed over to help. The gigantic willow tree king that was over 3 meters in diameter couldn't fight back at all. It couldn't move either, so it could only let these 4 humans cut it. After Catalan pulled out 6 javelins, he crazily cut down the holes that the javelins created. Clearly, attacking from the inside is easier. And with each cut, the toughness of the willow tree king's trunk actually decreased. Shishi, the large amount of branches that were originally full of leaves started to wither. The entire trunk of the willow tree king also quickly lost its life force. The speed at which it lost its life force was clearly visible to the naked eye. With the loss of life force, the trunk's defense clearly weakened. Boom. The entire willow tree king slowly fell. The towering, gigantic willow tree king smashed through some trees and flowers on the side. Finally, with a rumble, it smashed onto the ground of the misty island. Haha, we finally succeeded. Hurry, find the 10,000 Year Willow Heart. Catalan and the others were extremely excited. In order to cut down this willow tree king, they spent 10 times more energy than destroying the spirits of the other 8 willow trees combined. Luo Feng, who was far away, has been watching for over 10 minutes. Hee. Thankfully, my transformation only took 30 minutes, so I can see the scene of them cutting down the willow tree king. Luo Feng let out a smile. Since the dojo of limits people haven't arrived yet, that's good too. Luo Feng, who underwent a transformation in the depths of the earth, greatly increased his strength. Right now it's time for him to give it a try. The rumbling continued. The group of people were currently cutting down the willow tree king's trunk. Hurry and find it. Catalan and the others wanted to find the 10,000 Year Willow Heart from within the trunk. Catalan's spread out spiritual force felt someone enter. He couldn't help but to be surprised and immediately turned his head to look. 100 meters away, Luo Feng, who was wearing a battle uniform with a shield on his back and a simple ghost blade in his hand, slowly walked out of the dark mist and headed towards them. Keita, Ethan, and Li Yao also noticed. Luo Feng. Li Yao's eyes exploded with ferocity. Long time no see. Luo Feng smiled as he looked at Li Yao. Catalan looked at Luo Feng and let out a cold smile as he spoke in awkward Chinese. Luo Feng? If you hid underground, I wouldn't be able to catch you with your spirit reader abilities. However, you actually came to dry land. How stupid. Great Bear Kada and Blood Shadow Ethan also let out cold smiles. None of Catalan's group of 3 is weaker than Li Yao. The 3 of them and Li Yao, this group of 4, would be afraid of Luo Feng? Could it be that you used the Thousand Year Willow Heart and instantly became a spirit reader at the peak of the advanced level Wargod level? Catalan sneered. As a spirit reader, of course he knew that spirit readers are extremely rare. And most spirit readers have the talent to rapidly increase their strength to the advanced level Warlord level. Reaching the beginner level Wargod level is already not bad. Intermediate level Wargod level spirit readers are already extremely rare. As for those who can instantly increase their strength to the advanced level Wargod level, they can be counted on one hand. Spirit readers who can instantly increase their strength to the peak of the advanced level Wargod level? In the entire world, are there only 1 or 2? Nobody knows. Thanks for helping me cut down the Willow Tree King. Luo Feng slightly smiled. It saved me a lot of trouble. His entire body instantly turned into a blur as he charged towards the Willow Tree King. Kill. Catalan roared coldly. Luo Feng. Li Yao roared as he charged first with his blades in hand. Flames seemed to be burning in his eyes. Whoosh. 6 throwing knives. They were like 6 black bolts of lightning. At such a close distance, they were so fast that even Li Yao himself couldn't dodge them. But why did Li Yao dodge? The black color had already covered his entire body. Only his eyes and nostrils were slightly exposed. With his ability, there's no way someone could hit such a small gap. A black god set. Even an emperor-level monster would have a hard time piercing through a black god set. The only way to kill a wargod wearing a black god set is through pure force. I can't pierce through your black god set, but just the force of the attack is enough to shatter your organs. Rumble. The 6 throwing knives all landed on Li Yao's body. As of now, Luo Feng, who has reached the peak of the advanced level Wargod level, has an unbelievable amount of strength. Back then, when he used dragon blood and passed the fist strength tester, one of his throwing knives contained around 220,000 kilograms of force. And now, one of his throwing knives has a force of over 500,000 kilograms. The force of one throwing knife has a force of over 500,000 kilograms. Altogether, it's a force of over 3 million kilograms. Even though a spirit reader's advantage is being unpredictable and hard to defend against. After reaching the peak of the advanced level Wargod level, just looking at the pure force of the attack has already reached an unbelievable level. This is the strength of a fighter at the peak of the Wargod level who has a force of 500,000 kilograms and can exert 6 times the normal force. Boom. Li Yao's feet left the ground and he flew backwards at an astonishing speed. At the same time he knocked into Blood Shadow Ethan behind him. He even rolled a few times in midair and flew a few hundred meters away. 6 throwing knives that were as fast as lightning and as heavy as MT Tai blasted Phantom Demon Catalan, who had a look of horror on his face and sent him flying. Luo Feng directly landed next to the Willow Tree King's trunk and the 6 throwing knives crazily bombarded the Willow Tree's trunk. With no life force left, the trunk's defense became much weaker, so it quickly exploded. A green light with hints of gold flew out. LuoFeng's spiritual force immediately wrapped around it and brought it in front of him. It was an oval crystal the size of a fist. There was a hint of green flowing within the crystal, mixed with a hint of gold. Just looking at it with the naked eye would cause one's heart to palpitate. 10,000 Year Willow Heart. Luo Feng slightly smiled and swiftly put the 10,000 Year Willow Heart into the pocket of his battle uniform. Li Yao, you can't escape. Luo Feng laughed loudly. Boom. The sound of an explosion suddenly rang out, and Luo Feng had already exploded with an unbelievable speed as he swiftly chased after Li Yao. As of now, Luo Feng's maximum speed has reached around 500 meters per second, and with the help of his spiritual force that has reached the peak of the Wargod level, Luo Feng's speed can even reach around 700 meters per second. In the distance, Li Yao, Catalan, Kada, and Ivan were all running at full speed. That Luo Feng has caught up, Catalan's face changed. Luo Feng. Li Yao's heart was filled with grief and anger. He never would have thought that Luo Feng, who he could squash like an ant back then, would grow to such an extent in an instant. Li Yao, who was flying, hurriedly said, Catalan, let's team up and get rid of this Luo Feng. Sorry. Catalan smiled faintly and signaled to Kada and Yvonne beside him with his eyes. The 3 of them had experienced God knows how many battles, so of course they understood each other's intentions. Whoosh. Phantom Demon Catalan, Blood Shadow Yvonne, Great Bear Kada, these 3 powerhouses turned and dashed towards the left almost at the same time. They parted ways with Li Yao so quickly. It must be noted that their speed was more than 600 meters per second. At such a speed, when Li Yao came to his senses, the distance between them had already exceeded 500 to 600 meters. And Luo Feng had already caught up. Bastards, a bunch of idiots, cursed Li Yao in his heart, while Luo Feng's figure rapidly approached. This Luo Feng's speed is actually a bit faster than me. Li Yao grieved and gritted his teeth. Catalan and the other 2 who had parted ways with Li Yao began to slow down. That's good. Catalan heaved a sigh of relief. Then Luo Feng really went after Li Yao and not us. Catalan looked behind him and said in English. He had tried to release his psychic power to a distance of 150 meters away, but he did not find anyone. Blood Shadow Ivan next to him sneered. That Li Yao is asking for trouble. The sound of the explosion in the distance was very clear in the silent night. Catalan, why aren't we helping Li Yao? Great Bear Kata frowned. Help him? Why? Catalan sneered, and then his expression became serious. What's more, Kata, even if we wanted to help him, we wouldn't have the ability to. You have to know that LuoFeng is definitely a spirit reader at the peak of the advanced level Wargod level, an invincible existence within the advanced level Wargod level. Great Bear Kata and Blood Shadow Ivan both looked at Catalan in shock. Ivan couldn't help but say, Catalan, even you aren't his match? My Phantom Strike, as long as a spirit reader adds his spirit power to push the javelin from the side, he would naturally be able to break this move. As for the demonic illusion eye, it was a mental attack. For LuoFeng, whose spiritual force is even stronger than mine, I can't hurt him at all. Instead, I'll hurt my own spiritual force. Catalan's face wasn't looking good. How about we join forces? Greatbeard Kata said hurriedly. That's right. Let's fight together. Ivan's eyes were cold. For a spirit reader, numbers are useless. Catalan lightly shook his head. I've already confirmed that this LuoFeng is indeed a spirit reader at the peak of the advanced level Wargod level. Don't mess with him in the future. Yes. Kata and Ivan nodded slightly. Let's hurry up and get more essence of nature. Then we'll take the fighter jet and leave. Catalan said quietly, remember everyone, don't walk too fast and don't make too much noise. Otherwise LuoFeng might hear us and chase after us. Kata and Ivan nodded solemnly. Catalan sighed inwardly. Another invincible god of war has appeared in the circle of gods of war. Invincible War God. It was a respectful title given to a certain special expert in the circle of Wargod. Catalan's status in the circle of Wargod was extremely high, much higher than Vulture Li Yao's. However, he hasn't received the title of Invincible Wargod yet. Even though Vulture Li Yao and the others have black god sets, they only have powerful defense. If your attack isn't strong enough, you don't have the right to be called an Invincible Wargod. Rumble, Li Yao, who was running at his maximum speed, created a shockwave that shattered some vegetation. Run. There was only one word in Li Yao's mind right now, run. Ever since LuoFeng's 6 throwing knives landed on his body, Li Yao was very clear on the difference between him and LuoFeng. Even Phantom Demon Catalan was forced to flee by LuoFeng. What can Li Yao do if he doesn't run? Li Yao. LuoFeng's body was like a phantom and his eyes were like lightning. Kill. Suddenly, 6 flowing black lights flew out of LuoFeng's body. Their speed was who knows how many times faster than LuoFeng and Li Yao's running speed. These 6 flowing black lights instantly crossed the distance of less than 50 meters. After that, Li Yao didn't even have time to dodge before they landed on Li Yao's body. Every flying dagger was like a small mountain smashing over. Every flying dagger had an astonishing penetrative power. Li Yao's black skin slightly caved in, but he wasn't pierced by the throwing knives at all. However, the terrifying force of impact contained within the 6 throwing knives was not to be underestimated. Rumble, Li Yao's entire body was once again sent flying. He actually used the force of the attack to increase the distance between him and LuoFeng. What's going on? As the distance between them increased again, LuoFeng's face changed, including the time I attacked him before. This is already the 3rd time. 3 consecutive attacks. How is this Li Yao still not dead? Why isn't he heavily injured? These were 6 throwing knives, and the force of impact contained within each throwing knife was over 500,000 kilograms. 6 throwing knives meant that the force of impact exceeded 3 million kilograms. He was smashed 3 times under this terrifying force. Even the strongest Wargod would be smashed into meat paste if he used his body to take 3 hits. However, Vulture Li Yao was still running at full speed without slowing down at all. Could it be? Could it be because of the Black God set? Is the Black God set that amazing? LuoFeng frowned. Good thing I have the Black God set, or else I would have died a long time ago. Li Yao, who was running as fast as he could, had a trace of blood on the corner of his mouth. However, his powerful body was swiftly recovering. Every time LuoFeng attacked him, Li Yao only needed a moment to recover half of the damage. So until now, Li Yao only spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. The defensive power of the Black God set is indeed incredible. It's said that even Emperor-level monsters can't tear through it and can only be killed by the endless force of impact, thought Li Yao to himself. The Black God set is extremely mysterious. Its material is extremely tough. Its main advantage is its toughness. No matter how sharp something is, it can't be pierced through. And not only that. The force of any attack will be weakened by 90% when it passes through the Black God set. In other words, after the 3 million kilograms of impact passes through the skin of the Black God set, only 300,000 kilograms will be left on Li Yao's body. And this 300,000 kilograms is spread across Li Yao's entire body. If the 300,000 kilograms of impact is used on one part of the body, it'll deal quite a bit of damage to an advanced level Wargod. However, once it's spread across his entire body, Li Yao doesn't care. There's a saying. Besides existences surpassing the Wargod level, Emperor-level monsters and laser cannons, there's no other way to kill a Wargod wearing the Black God set. This is a compliment to the miraculous effects of the Black God set. Of course, there are some exaggerations. For example, last time when Li Yao was trapped at the bottom of the lake and couldn't breathe, he still suffocated to death after a while. But in conclusion, the defensive power of the Black God set is indeed incredible. The 6 black lights once again bombarded Li Yao's body. This time, Li Yao didn't use the force of impact to run in a straight line. Instead, he abruptly made a turn. And Luo Feng, who has been chasing for a long time, was already used to it. He thought that Li Yao would continue to run in a straight line, so he immediately charged far away. By the time he came back, the distance between the two of them has long exceeded the range of his spiritual force. Umph. Luo Feng angrily snorted. But Luo Feng was clear that after 6 attacks, Li Yao still wasn't dead. This Black God set is indeed miraculous. Even though I can trample this Li Yao, killing him will be very difficult, thought Luo Feng to himself. I'll make a net later. A net made from SS-grade material. I'll use my spiritual force to control the net and directly trap this Li Yao. If I can't kill him, I'll just trap him. If I don't give him anything to drink, he'll starve to death. I can even directly put him into the water. After a while he'll suffocate to death, thought Luo Feng to himself. There's no other way. He can only rely on this simple method. First trap him, then starve to death or suffocate to death. As for killing a Wargod wearing a Black God set head-on, unless the Wargod takes it off, Luo Feng can't do it. This Li Yao is quite sly, not making a single sound at all. Luo Feng listened carefully and tried to find some clues from the sound. Luo Feng leapt up and stepped on his shield. In an instant he flew 100 to 200 meters into the air. As he looked down from midair, his spiritual force spread out to search while listening carefully. Boom. A very weak sound carried from afar. Ichim? There's a sound over there. Luo Feng's eyes flashed. With a thought, he immediately flew over on his shield. He turned into an arc as he descended. At this time, Phantom Demon Catalan, Great Bear Kata, and Blood Shadow Ethan were surrounding 2 golden weeds and swiftly digging the soil on the ground. Hey, what are you guys doing? A voice rang. Phantom Demon Catalan and the other 2's expressions changed as they turned their heads. Luo Feng, who was standing on his shield, was slowly descending as he smiled at Catalan and the others. Phantom Demon Catalan and the other 2 cursed in their hearts. Wasn't this Luo Feng chasing after Li Yao? Even if they made some noise, it shouldn't attract Luo Feng's attention. They didn't want to make any noise, but how could they not make any noise when fighting against the spirit of nature? Go! Catalan howled. The 3 immediately sprinted. Humph, Li Yao has a Black God set, so I can't do anything to him. 2 of you also have a Black God set, but one of you doesn't. Luo Feng's gaze locked onto the brute, Great Bear Kata, and a smile appeared on his face. He directly chased after Great Bear Kata. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming great videos.